Alcaraz to kick things off.
Like. Love. 15-all.
Of course, that head-to-head we saw reflected a 2-0 in the favour of the Spaniard. But there is a slight caveat. Their first encounter in Barcelona on the clay. Perhaps an early indication of what's to come there. Alex de Minaur sliding out of both corners. Yeah, and in that time in Barcelona, Carlos Alcaraz, the young Carlos Alcaraz at that stage, was really stamping himself on the tour, and Alex de Minaur had match points, and he had a mid-court forehand that he didn't quite put away. Alcaraz produced a bit of magic, coming back and winning in 3.
Just long. Well, that point had a bit of everything, didn't it? And it's been a bit of a change to de Minaur's play, where he's prepared to come in. His defensive skills are so good. Force back. Little flick there, just long.
He had him beat too. Oh, yes. I think we liked it a little more than Adolfo and Leighton.
Hard to please because it was perfect, wasn't it?
Well, it was made even more special, the fact that he picked that one off his toes to hit that half volley lob.
Break point, opening service game.
Advantage, de Minaur.
Estate listo pronto después del saque, Vamos.
Spanish seems to be the language that we're going to operate in, down from the chair to both players. So it's de Minaur, English, Spanish, French.
Alcaraz.
Respira bien. Vamos, recupera ahí.
Yeah, Juan Carlos Ferrero is very vocal in the coaching box. Obviously, coaching is allowed in tennis now, and Juan Carlos is often giving advice.
Cain. Alcaraz.
So saves 2 break points, does Carlos Alcaraz, to hold serve.
First game.
Both these guys very athletic, 6 foot 183 centimetres apiece. And I think we saw just about everything in that opening service game. Some serve and volley, good rallies, clean winners. A bit more of that for 2 sets and a match tiebreaker would be good, John.
Really high quality start for an exhibition match.
Bjorn Borg's back.
He enjoyed that game too. Look at him.
If you weren't with us yesterday, we revealed exclusively on our coverage that Bjorn had played 1 Australian Open. Got beaten by Phil Dent in the 3rd round, 1974.
Alex de Minaur to serve.
Long lost stat in the tennis archives.
Love 15.
Out.
15-all.
Yeah.
Now brilliant play from Carlos Alcaraz, squeezing de Minaur.
15-13.
It's what makes Carlos Alcaraz so damaging. He's got this massive firepower at the back of the court, but equally as good at the net. Coming forward with conviction there. He hits that first volley, a good 1.5 meters inside the service line. Even Demon's wheels couldn't chase that one down.
And the positivity of the footwork as well. We saw a good shot on that replay. There's like 3 steps and he moves direction effortlessly. Gets in the right position, as does de Minaur. They're both exquisite, fast feet.
$40-13.
And the de Minaur serve, he'll be happy with that. Averaging 200 kilometres an hour. This has been one of his most improved shots over the last 12 months. Haven't put the mocker on him, have I?
Probably.
Game, de Minaur.
No, you have not. Hold serve.
One game all.
Not an easy thing to have an average serve of over 200 when you're only 6 foot. You know, it's not a huge height to be delivering the missile from.
And the positive for Alex de Minaur, if he can win more free points on serve, he's always going to create chances with his return. He is one of the best returners in men's tennis at the moment. Finds the court with a lot of returns. The Alex de Minaur return, he's willing to actually make a few changes. Originally, he was unyielding in his court position on return when he first jumped on the scene, and it would drive Leighton Hewitt crazy because he'd be up against these big servers and would never retreat.
Ran along the net like a caterpillar. It had not one, two, I think it might have had 3 looks.
15 all.
Yeah, he was getting a bit cheeky here. You got to be careful when you're drop shotting Alex de Minaur because he is so quick. Nearly could have volleyed this one back. Tries to get a bit cute.
That first one is not over, is it? The second one, and then over it goes. You don't want to be wasting those in an exhibition. You save those for the big points. That's like holding every putt on the practice green. You know you're never going to make a putt once you move out onto the course.
15.
That's all too familiar for me. I now just don't take practice putts. So dangerous. Anything in that middle corridor, Carlos Alcaraz. Very dynamic mover. Easily finds forehand.
Game, Alcaraz.
Not as much luck with the net cord on that occasion. Alcaraz holds serve. We're on serve 2-1.
Alcaraz leads 2 games to 1.
Have they had a practice session this morning already, or they've just come in and done some stuff for tonight?
I'm unsure about Carlos Alcaraz, but I do know Alex had a light hit this morning. They'll start to taper quite shortly, though.
It's a good opportunity just to practice the whole routine, isn't it? You've got to be good at doing nothing, hanging around all day for a 7 o'clock match. So the Australian Tennis Foundation is the official charity of Tennis Australia and the Australian Open, supporting disadvantaged children and communities through a number of programs, giving every kid the chance to play. The ATF aims to ensure every kid, no matter of their background or circumstances, has the access and opportunity to play tennis, delivering free tennis programs to kids facing adversity and financial support for families who may need a little extra help to get their children out onto the courts. AusOpen.com/ATF as we look down over this beautiful precinct, Yarra River, Botanical Gardens, Lion Music Bowl, Government House on the right-hand side, and beautiful forecourt to Rod Laver Arena. Everything's set up and ready to go. Fans, big crowd here today. Perfect conditions, school holidays, of course.
Y arriesga, resta segunda, arriesga, Mira.
It always fascinates me, John. We were talking during the break, John, about whether the players would have come out for a hit today. That the workload that they love hitting. You're a workhorse, so you know you play long matches in draining conditions, and you know, a Grand Slam, a day off before your next match. I would be lying on my bed with my feet up, but no, you love coming out to hit.
Yeah, and I think
I'm a long jumper. I ran 40 metres. That was it. I would rest. You guys love it. I don't understand it. Explain it to me.
Yeah, I think everyone's a little bit different, and you're right. The tennis players love to be hitting balls, to have that feeling. I think there are two different types of tennis players, though. There's some that could go without a week or two. They pick up the racket and they find the middle of the... And I look at players like Roger Federer and Aussie's own Ash Barty. They were very natural. Found the middle a lot. It seemed to come easy for them. And then there were other players, even some great ones. A Rafael Nadal. Felt like he needed to be hitting a lot of balls to feel good about himself. So, yes, players as a whole, they love to hit balls, some more than others.
3 break points here.
Alcaraz.
So on the double fault, Alcaraz gets the break here for the first time in the opening set.
Alcaraz leads 3 games to 1.
It's such a punishing game. The duration now of matches, as we've seen the last few years, because of the time clock, because of the length of the rallies, because of the length of the matches themselves.
And there's also been a concerted effort to slow down the surface. A lot different in the last 15 years or so.
50 love.
They do that on the hard court by adding a little bit of sand to it. Roughens up the surface. Of course, that has a flow-on effect. All of a sudden, the balls get not only cut up by the string, but by the rackets also, making a greater difference between the new balls and the old balls.
The videos you see of them redoing the courts every year here is it's an art. The court layers, that's what they're called.
30 love.
It's incredible. Looks like they're just pushing paint around. It's a bit more science than that, but go and check those out online. Easy to find, I'm sure.
Love.
Vale, sacado bien, ¿eh? Súbele si puedes.
And he's won 9 points on the trot now as Carlos Alcaraz. Gifted Alex de Minaur one there. One of these volleys that Alcaraz hit was outrageous, and it would have beaten just about anybody who doesn't have the de Minaur speed. This one here, the half volley back in behind. That one not so good. The ball had almost passed him with that half volley, and he manages to put it within a half a foot from the baseline.
Impressive from Carlos Alcaraz. Consolidates the break and leads 4-1 in this opening set.
Alcaraz leads 4 games to 1.
He doesn't have any issues in telegraphing when one's coming back with interest, because the grunt is enormous and he lets fly. Nothing he can do about it. It's straight in the corner, and that got the applause of Alex de Minaur.
He's looking good, isn't he? Carlos Alcaraz, hungry to potentially claim the elusive Australian Open.
Carlos, what a start. It looks like you've never been gone. How do you feel about your game right now?
Well, honestly, I'm surprising myself. I didn't expect, playing such a great level in the first match, of the season. But yeah, I think I've been doing great. I mean, great practices this week. I mean, this is my third day here, so I'm struggling a little bit with jet lag, the weather as well, the sun. But I'm trying to do the best of myself. And yeah, as I said, I'm surprising myself, honestly.
We are not surprised. You can actually, I don't want to delay the game, so we can get up and walk slowly. What I did want to ask you is, your serve looks very good. What did you do to your serve? If you're allowed to say.
Yeah, it changes a little bit the movement, the rhythm of the serve, just a little bit. The serve is something that I knew that I have to improve. I think I'm doing the great things, on the serves. At the beginning of the preseason, with my team, we discuss a lot how I have to do the movement, the serve, and I think it's paying off.
It's paying off very well. I will ask Juan Carlos about it later.
Andrea Petkovic on court, and Carlos Alcaraz, I'm impressing myself. That's high praise. And all of a sudden, if you're watching in the locker room, there's jitters reverberating.
Yeah, he's definitely put the yardstick down. He was playing at a high level, but for him to go and admit it, I would have liked a little more detail as to what he's done with his serve. He kept that one a bit close to his chest.
So what did he say? He's changed some movement.
And that was about it.
Yep. But I'll have coaches scurrying for footage.
30-15.
2024 Carlos Alcaraz v what we're seeing here. But have a look at that positioning, and the fact that he's ready for the next shot. If it does come back, the chances of that slim, but that's about the 5th time that de Minaur's just applauded.
Yeah, on both sides, you do not want to give Carlos Alcaraz time. You could see then he was set and in position. He could wind up, use that broad frame that he has to really uncoil.
So despite all of that, Alex absorbs the punishment. Hold serve.
Alcaraz leads
4-2.
4-2.
Alexei Poprin currently reconsidering his plans for Friday night, where he's due to play Carlos Alcaraz out here in the final of our arena showdowns.
And that really will be one of the last hit-outs these players will have. They'll find out after the draw is made tomorrow what half plays when. Of course, if you're playing Sunday,
yeah, of course, that schedule always to be confirmed. The week before, players sign up for these exhibition events, but we all understand if they change their mind for whatever reason.
The swinging forehand volley hits that one well above his shoulder there. Generally speaking, probably looking to let that drop down to shoulder height. Not if you're Carlos Alcaraz. You can hit him from anywhere. And not afraid to serve volleys, Carlos, which serves him very well at Wimbledon. Looks very natural doing it. Missed on that occasion. Probably look to angle that one a little bit shorter in the court next time. But so competent around the net.
Brilliant point from Alex de Minaur. Even the bosses come out to watch. Gave Alcaraz the run around there and was able to come in and finish it off.
Yeah, redirects forehand line here, gets nice and close to the net, shows deft touch. Alex de Minaur. I did warn Carlos, you don't drop shot. The speed freak.
Juice.
This is not a bad drop shot. Maybe a little too deep to play the drop shot from that position, but still. Lightning quick from Alex de Minaur.
Advantage, de Minaur. Juice. Advantage, Alcaraz. Juice. Advantage, de Minaur.
gone to that play a little bit, has Alcaraz, under pressure. Standing a touch wider, getting this kick bouncing high, cutting sideline above the de Minaur shoulder line, then getting around and hitting that forehand into the open court.
And the other thing there was, because it had that bit of kick, de Minaur had to jump off the ground, so he couldn't get his feet back to move into position for the next one. Spent too much time in the air. Hang time.
Great backhand volley here. Coach watches on.
Advantage, Alcaraz.
Really aggressive movement forward. Look how quick he is. Get inside the service line. Volley, moving through the ball at impact. That adds just a little more penetration. And despite being an exhibition, both players not wanting to give this one away. Definitely the intensity has raised.
I would have done the same thing, I think Carlos was saying.
Minaur.
Third breakpoint opportunity for the Australian.
Well, that's one way to beat him. Try to knock him out before the tournament even starts.
The serve to the body almost did it, and then just a graze. Play from Carlos Alcaraz. There's a break and we're back on serve in the opening set. Everyone's enjoying themselves.
Alcaraz leads 4-3.
Stan Wawrinka and Novak Djokovic.
Magnus Norman behind there. Does work with Stan Wawrinka. Donovekic in the front of the screen.
Friendly exhibition match.
Alex de Minaur, you understand that this is supposed to be a practice match. The level out there, Alex, you can get up and walk with me if you like, is quite outrageous.
Yeah, look, it's always exciting whenever you play someone like Carlos. He's one of the most exciting shot makers there are on tour. So I've got my running shoes on and I'm doing the best I can out here.
A little bit of friendly fire went hard at him at the net as well there too.
Well, if not, I can't win points out here, you know. No, obviously was not going for him. I'm glad he didn't take it too badly.
And just finally this crowd, what a great opportunity.
What a great place to be. Hopefully we can play some great tennis and let's lift this atmosphere. Thank you, guys.
Well, talking about the atmosphere, go Alex. That is the daughter of Chris Stubbs, Harriet, who's been busy all day making those signs, Stubbsy. You should be very proud of your work there. Art and craft, #1 in the Stubbs household. And Harriet's been excited all day, not to see her dad talking to Alex de Minaur, but just to wave that Go Alex sign. Well done, Harriet.
Did Dad make the sign?
He was involved. I'm not sure how involved.
50 love.
I really like the play from Alex when his opponent approaches on into the net, getting that first one at the toe. So many players then obviously have to play up, and really plays into Alex de Minaur's speed. An area for improvement for the Australian would be his first serve percentage, only at 40% right now, so definitely will want to increase that.
Game, de Minaur.
Oh, we're back on an even keel. I think Brother Lloyd's there as well. The Stubbs family have made the journey into Rod Laver Arena to cheer on Alex de Minaur. John, it's one of the hallmarks of his game is he's the ultimate sponge, de Minaur. He can absorb the pressure and then work his way back into it. He was 4-1 down. Alcaraz was so impressed with himself that he was giving himself pats on the back, and fair enough. It wasn't boasting, it was just high quality play, and de Minaur's fought back and we're all square.
One of the other challenging things when you're up against Alex is, you know, in order to get some free points, in order to be able to hit some winners, you have to go quite close to the line. You have to be willing to elevate your risk profile because he covers the court so well. But then over the last 12 months, not only has he added in areas like his serve, but also that aggressive that aggressive mindset, looking to take balls on a little bit more, do a little more damage with the line delivery, like then on the back end.
That's a big miss by these guys. I'll be disappointed with that. Couple there, just as they were coming down, terrorising the line on the right side and then the wrong side. So Alcaraz holds 5-4 in this opening set.
Alcaraz leads 5 games to 4.
Alex Zverev underneath the stadium here. Missed his final match at the United Cup with a bicep problem. I was actually calling the match when he hurt his arm, and he continued on with that match, and he won it and then came out and played the mixed doubles, but then a day or so later he withdrew from his final encounter. Team Germany. Alex Zverev had the better of Carlos Alcaraz in the quarterfinal here last year. And that little bicep problem at the United Cup, missed his final group match. I do love it here, John, with the movement under the stands. You've got players warming up for Grand Slam matches, and you've got workforce and people and hospitality staff, everyone moving around. Zheng Qinwen, last year's women's runner-up, has come out to watch. Courtside seats. That's nice. That aggressive play where you just squeeze in forward a fraction and cut down the time. It's impressive.
Yeah, and we talk about Alex's lateral movement, but his movement in and out of the court, something that's continually developing. Tony Roach has done a massive amount of work at Davis Cups with that.
30 love.
And I've been told where to expect Tony when main draw starts. No doubt we'll see him courtside in Alex's matches. Whenever Alex was back in Australia, Tony always willing to get on court with him.
Well, Australia's had some incredible tennis minds, haven't they? Harry Hopman recently lost Neil Fraser, Tony Roach. What they've been able to hand down through the generations of players, and the players themselves that have benefited that are still around.
Yeah, Tony Roach in particular, for me,
Minaur.
so much impact in Australian tennis. I think there should be a stadium named after him. Not one that likes the plaudits. Was quite happy to be Davis Cup coach, not Davis Cup captain. Didn't he form a great partnership with Johnny Newcomb? But just behind the scenes, he was always someone, even now, gets on the court whenever asked and ever present in the Davis Cup space currently. I used to love Davis Cups, being able to just hear his stories, take on board his advice. He's got so much to offer, does Tony Roach.
It was just long. Didn't do anywhere near enough with the volley. De Minaur, and he knew he was in trouble. He was right up against the net.
Yeah, didn't get anywhere near enough wrist snap, as he gestured. And that shot was on. It didn't have to be that good, Carlos. You could have gone 3 meters inside the baseline and Alex still wouldn't have been able to hunt it down. And that's that volley we've talked about. Coming around the outside of the ball, landing it shorter in the court, and it really takes away Alex's speed there.
15 all.
If If you have a look at this one here, if he goes deep, Alex might be able to get that back. Because he cuts around the outside of the ball, shuts down the angle.
.205, just a kilometre shy of his fastest so far at 206.
What's interesting with the serve speeds here, though, is fastest serves, Alex edges Carlos Alcaraz. And on my screen, I can see the average first serve speed. Alex de Minaur is at 196. Carlos Alcaraz, 186. And the 10-kilometre difference then in average first serve speed paints a bit of a picture. Suggests that Carlos Alcaraz is using a fair bit more variation on serve. So he's adding his cutters, his sliders, which takes speed off the ball. We've also seen him use that kick serve as a first serve. Again, taking speed off, using a little bit of variation. Perhaps worried that he's giving Alex a bit too much rhythm. Because when Alex locks in on returns and getting the same ball, he rarely misses.
Sure. 30-40.
And this will be interesting here. Faces another break point as Carlos Alcaraz. On his break points so far, he's either gone the slider tee or he's used that kick serve wide and looked to find a forehand on the next one. Will he want the cheap point by going tee? Or will he look for the 1-2 punch? He went for the tee. Didn't quite hit his mark there. It's a little central. But this forehand, pinpoint accuracy, sets up the easy put-away volley.
Getting a lot of chances, Alex de Minaur.
Advantage, de Minaur.
Seventh break point. He's had one success so far. That was wide, and Alex de Minaur gets the break. Crowd enjoying that. Harriet Stubbs sign aloft. 6-5. Elena Rybakina. So this is what you have to do. You have to have a stick that's got three parts to it. You have to stand on a wobble board on one foot and try and balance and catch it while there's lights going.
And normally that stick has a different colour, and so they'll call out a colour, and that's
so you've got to catch the blue.
Yeah, but maybe not with both of them.
Right, so the green. No, that looks like it should be in Cirque du Soleil.
You see, she's catching the same colour here.
So Coco Golf, that's a lot simpler for me. You just got the stick.
And we saw Novak have that, the Novak stick.
So I've just been seeing some Behind the scenes, Coco Gauff with the Novak Djokovic stick. And there's another stick.
That's Mukova. Fantastic player. So much variation, so much fun to watch.
Is that BYO's stick, or are they providing the sticks? That's my sort of stick.
I like
just
that
the
stick
weapon
too. The Thunder stick. Yeah, that's the Babolat Aero drive. Another famous Spaniard used that one.
There we go. Novak's got his stick.
It's funny how it works though, because I reckon years ago I saw Novak in the gym and he was really one of the only ones that had that big stick, and he'd do all these little exercises with it, and people start seeing Novak do it and, oh, if Novak's doing it, maybe I should. That also happened with when he was gluten-free. All of a sudden had every player demanding gluten-free pasta.
Andrea was telling us before that she started eating dates because Novak did at the change of ends. Little sticky for mine, the dates.
Sticky date.
Yeah, hot and sticky.
I like the pudding. My mum makes a mean sticky date pudding.
Closing in on this opening set here, Alex de Minaur.
T15.
I don't think they should do that. No, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Not that long ago, it was 4-1 in Alcaraz's favour. Couple of set points.
T30.
Big ace to take the opening set. 7-5. Right on the hour. Entertaining and high-class tennis. The Arena Showdown. De Minaur takes the first set. Well, that was excellent. Excellent. He'll be very pleased with the comeback too, because he was well, he wasn't being whipped off the court, but he was under duress. Alcaraz was playing tremendous tennis, and de Minaur's levels risen a fraction. Alcaraz maybe came off just a little bit, but that was excellent.
Yeah, Alex was pretty steady in that set. The unforced error count for Carlos definitely increased in that back half as we see the first set summary. Concerning for Alex is his first serve percentage, only 39%. He has won 83% of the times he's landed that first serve. Been very stingy with his unforced errors in comparison with Carlos Alcaraz, who's had the 20. Both players will want to tidy up a few little areas. And Alex will want to be a little more efficient with his breakpoint conversion.
Created plenty of opportunities.
Cain.
Joined by an Aussie icon who's sitting here courtside in Alex's camp, Leighton Hewitt. This level is outrageous for a practice match, right?
Yeah, well, both players are getting ready for the first Grand Slam of the year, so they want to come out here and have a really good hit out, and no, it's been top form so far, so hopefully we're in for another treat here in the second set.
Now, they've just dropped us away from the audio, so we can continue to talk while this is happening. Alex is giving you the thumbs up. What was that all about?
Yeah, I think he's having a crack at me. I was putting off the players, but it's all about us in the coaches box, isn't he? I got Matt Reid here, one of his coaches. What do you think, Reedy? How's things?
Yeah, it's going pretty well at the moment. Hopefully you can keep it going.
Just quickly, Leighton, in terms of the off-season, what have you had to work on? Was it difficult given the hip injury from last year?
Yeah, we did most of his training, obviously, with his main coach, Adolfo Gutierrez, and they trained extremely hard. It wasn't a big off-season, especially after making the Davis Cup finals, but there were certain areas of his game he wants to keep building on, you know, keep trying to evolve and you know, just add layers to his game. He's been able to do that so well over the last 3 or 4 years now, and he's cemented himself in the top 10, and that's where he deserves to be, and playing against these guys week in and week out. So really exciting, especially to have an Aussie as a top 8 seed here at our home Grand Slam. So no, the crowd's really going to be in for a treat with Alex over the next fortnight.
And just finally added a fiance as well, and is that going to help or hinder? You've been through it yourself.
No, we're trying to get her to come and play for Australia as well. So I'm really working hard at the moment. So I'm looking forward to her wearing the green and gold one day.
You heard it here first, Leighton Hewitt. Thank you.
No worries. Cheers, mate.
That was an incredibly brave question, Stubbsy. Smashed back across the net. Laura Robson's just had a conniption out the back. The chances of Katie Boulder competing for Australia.
Oh, we'll take her. Great tennis player. Great insight from Leighton Hewitt. Not so much from Matt Reid. This is a great backhand pass down the line. Open stance, really strong on that outside leg, but all muscle upper body. Look at this little bunt. So strong.
$40-15. Game, Alcaraz.
Good opening service game for Carlos Alcaraz. Kicked off the second set.
First game, second set.
Can take a look at some of the highlights from that opening set where Alcaraz got off to such a fast start.
Yeah, even by his own words, mightily impressive to start off with. But as we've gotten used to, the Aussie. He chips away. Down but never out. Showcasing his speed, both laterally and into the court. And even going for the body when it's suited. I think one of the real positives for the Australian fans here, watching at home and in the stadium, is the way he's moving. Such an important part of his game, but sustained that groin injury at Wimbledon. Didn't play another tournament until the US Open. And by his own admission, probably only 80 to 90% fit at Flushing Meadows. Still managed to make a quarterfinal. But it wasn't until he got deep into that preseason that he started to feel like his movement was back to 100%. In fact, he played the UTS event, Ultimate Tennis Showdown event in London, and I spoke to him immediately after that, and he said, "Johnny, I'm back at 100%.
Of course, that injury kept him out of the Paris Olympics, and he missed Tokyo as well because he had COVID. So it's been a bit of a curse for him. Olympic representation. He loves putting on the green and gold.
Yeah, he was incredibly frustrated when he got COVID. I was part of that Tokyo team, and he was a late withdrawal out of that one. He was so looking forward to representing Australia properly in France. Of course, he was there with the team, but had to make a late withdrawal, which was a real shame, wasn't it? Because he made quarterfinals at Roland Garros. Not known for his clay court play, but definitely gaining more confidence on the surface.
Training service holds to commence the second set.
1 game all.
Oh, brilliant touch from Minaur. And Alcaraz stretching out wide twice.
About 15.
Yeah, it was a great setup, wasn't it? This was great touch, but it was the two forehands before. Didn't beat him with pace, did he? Took a little bit off to cut the sideline. That created the opening and the opportunity to hit that shot there.
That kick serve's difficult to deal with, isn't it? You can just see that Minaur's having some trouble just getting up and on top of it. Jags.
Well, for a two-hander or a one-hander, anything above shoulder height, you lose all your power there. It's really hard to play with any type of quality, even more so when you know Carlos is looking to find a forehand on the next ball. So you have to make your decision then. Do you go forward and commit to trying to take it early, or do you adopt a really deep position like a Daniil Medvedev or a Dominic Thiem?
$13-15. $40-30. Let's first serve.
It's a tight encounter, isn't it? On serve, second set, 2-1, Alcaraz. Certainly a different intensity than what we saw last night. Sinner and Popperin. Every player brings something a little different to these sorts of events, and Alcaraz now has got the challenge. He's been out on court for an hour that first set. 13 minutes for the first 3 games here. How long does he want to be out here? Probably doesn't want to lose. Has to win this set to send it to a match tie break. There's a lot of things that are going through your mind.
What he will be happy about is that there's a Spanish restaurant in the players' area, and I reckon that's where he's having dinner.
I'm here with Juan Carlos Ferrero, former world #1 and Grand Slam champion, and I know this is tricky because teams don't want to give away too much, but what have you focused on in the work with Carlos?
Yeah, a lot of things. I think Carlos is still very young and he needs to improve a lot of things. Consistency on his focus is one of the things, because sometimes he's a little bit up and down on the matches. But yeah, I think he knows, and he's working on that, and of course we wanted to see him playing very good tennis.
Well, and I hope you're not angry at me, because since I mentioned his serve, I'm so sorry. I know, I take full responsibility. Can you talk a little bit more about what you worked on in the serve? Is it technique or speed?
We work a little bit more on the rhythm, because before he was like stopping the movement.
Robotic a little?
A little bit up there, and now we tried once he started the movement, like following until he finished the moves, and also the launch of the ball. It's is something that he has to improve, more consistency. because he has the speed, but not the consistency on the first serve. So it's one of the things that we want to reach the level.
And one personal question, how is your knee doing? Because I see you had surgery on there.
No, it's getting better. I need some time to recover well and, you know, take some strength again because, you know, after surgery you need some time. But I think it's going to be okay.
So Australian Open champion 2026, Juan Carlos Ferrero.
No, I don't think so anymore.
Thank you, Juan Carlos.
Juan Carlos, he'll be disappointed that knee surgery coincided with the Australian swing. I'm sure he would have wanted to get out on the beautiful Sandbelt golf courses. Mad keen golf fan is Carlos Alcaraz. Oh, not Carlos. Carlos Alcaraz is, but so is Juan Carlos Ferrero. I did a couple of days training at his academy and he was testing out the drivers back then.
Who's the best golfer of the players or entourage?
Oh, Rafa would have been up there when he played.
Worst swing. Terrible golf swing.
It was a bit ugly. Workmanlike.
Oh, just long. Nadal's golf swing is shorter than John Rahm's.
He does muscle it.
It's like a backhand bunt.
I know Casper Ruud plays off nearly scratch.
You said that Andy Murray brought his clubs?
Yeah, I heard a rumour, and he can tell me if I'm wrong. I heard he plays 7 hours a day.
Plays golf?
When he's not with Novak, I heard he's playing 7 hours a day, and some of the Brits told me that. So if I'm wrong, blame them.
Doesn't he have a young family?
You might bring them to the golf course.
40-30.
That's genius if he can do that. 7 hours a day.
New balls, please.
And the quality continues here. 2-all.
2 games all.
Such a difficult shot, the drop shot on this court, but has been played well tonight. Not sure you'll see as much of that once the tournament starts in earnest.
It is a reflection of the surface that both these players grew up playing on. The clay court surface really adds different elements to your game. I think something that the Australians lack a little bit. Playing predominantly on the hard courts. Really have to construct your points on the clay, find different ways to win. Use the entire court surface. And I really do feel like the guy serving right now, Carlos Alcaraz, has almost reintroduced the drop shot to men's tennis.
50 love.
I was looking before the season started on players that had made it through to the 4th round of every Grand Slam, both men and women. And de Minaur, along with Taylor Fritz, Jannik Sinner, Medvedev, Zverev, were the ones on the men's side that made it through to the 4th round or better. Of course, Alcaraz had that little blip, didn't he, at the US Open, where he was out in the 2nd round. It was a surprise. It's a measure of the capacity at the Grand Slams to, so much you've got to be fit. Obviously Alex had to have the walkover at Wimbledon in the quarter-final, but to endure into the 2nd week of every one of the Grand Slams means you've had a good year. Coco Gauff is the only one that was able to do it on the women's side. Of course, that includes a 4th round, so you'd love to go one step more and be a quarter-finalist at all 4 of them, maybe beyond.
Well, this here was the perfect drop shot. Hits the lead tape, only just drops over, and it shows you how fast de Minaur was. He took off behind the baseline there and still manages to get this on the first bounce.
He got a second or so from the net cord, but the slide, and it was an interesting shot. He almost worked the slice.
Well, in Alicante, Alex plays a lot of paddle tennis, and he pulls off that exact shot at an alarming rate.
They're putting in a drop shot clinic here. Alcaraz that time. 3-2 in the 2nd set. That was for you, he says to the fans in the stands. That setup and disguise was nice, but so is the execution. There's not much margin for error there. Apparently the fans in the stands gave Carlos a poster the other day, and he rewards them with a nice shot. An acknowledgement. That'll be enough to make your day. Alex de Minaur fought back from a 4-1 deficit in the opening set to take it 7-5 in right on 60 minutes. No breakpoint opportunities as yet in this 2nd set. We're on serve. High quality tennis. Good atmosphere. Perfect lead-in. Let's take a look at the de Minaur serve.
Yeah, much improved shot. They've worked incredibly hard to stay more side on. So as you can see, he's fully extended here. He hasn't opened up. He drags his foot, tucks it in behind, and gets that shoulder over shoulder, and you're able to get into that position if you are side on. In years gone by, he opened up and he got that right hip through a little early.
They may need to come to an agreement here at some point that no more drop shots, because we've done enough sprinting. There's been enough sprints in the hour and 25 minutes.
And very similar to the Carlos Alcaraz drop shot. Shapes to hit that forehand. A slight grip change to come underneath the ball. It's all in the disguise.
And the backspin as well to kill it when it lands.
And that's what that grip change does. Alex has more, it's not quite a semi-western forehand grip. It's actually getting towards the eastern side of things.
Well, there it is again. Oh, it's a rocket from Alcaraz.
This is a really good lunging volley pickup. Gets back into position. Cuts around the outside edge of the ball, absorbing all the pace. And Alcaraz didn't want to run any more.
So to love for Alex de Minaur. 3-all.
3 games all.
Yeah, we might see less and less chasing as the second set continues here. I've had a solid workout.
Let's first serve. Love.
We heard Carlos, I keep getting the names mixed up, don't I? We heard Juan Carlos Ferrero talk about the off-season spent trying to find a little more rhythm on the Carlos Alcaraz serve. Once he starts the action, he doesn't want to see any hitch. In years gone by, Alcaraz on the way up would briefly pause before extending up at contact. Still see a slight little pause there, but definitely a lot more smooth.
(30-15).
Here we go. So it was right there in years gone by where they had that pause. You can still see it just for a split second there. Rhythm's all about doing the same thing again and again, creating consistency. Scary to think, though, isn't it, that Alcaraz has still got room for improvement.
21.
It's actually ridiculous. It makes me a little bit ill.
You know, the two guys that won the Grand Slams last year, one's 21 and the other's 23. How's that make you feel? Happy to be retired?
Yeah, I know. I don't want to face them. facing Jannik Sinner was one too many times for me. Gave me a dusting at Indian Wells. And he's another player that's got room for improvement. Darren Cahill looking to get him forward more often, become a more competent net player. It's scary to think.
Juice.
His brother's been hitting the weights room. Holy moly. Look at that chest. And he nods with agreement.
All changes trajectory.
Advantage.
Touch of the book. Kepka's about the brother. He's a big unit.
We might recruit him for the Queensland Maroons.
He looks like he's
could
the
play in
brother
the second row.
Yeah, security as well. Doubles, multitasks.
Queensland's good at finding people who are born in Queensland. I'm sure his brother was born in Cairns or something. The Spanish-speaking city of Cairns.
Game, Alcaraz.
Alcaraz holds serve. International audience have got no idea what John Millman's talking about. State of origin, you can Google that in the sit down. 4-3.
Alcaraz leads 4 games to 3.
I forgot we were going international, DC.
I often wonder what the international audience makes of our Australian sense of humour, accent. You sit next to our international expert commentators and quite often they have a very bemused look on their face.
What I will say to the Carlos Alcaraz fans, especially those in Spain, that I was being very complimentary towards Alvaro. Pinnacle of Queensland sport is playing state of origin for your state. And I'd gladly accept him.
I think you're only saying that because he's 4 times your size.
That's why I'd gladly accept him. You don't see people with my stature playing for Queensland.
Well, the energy is up here with one of my all-time favourites, a bit of House of Pain. Jump around, jump up and get down. And Andrea and Chris courtside are doing exactly that. Of course, we're here for, there's Bjorn. Energy is up. If you'd like to find out more about the Australian Tennis Foundation, please head to ausopen.com/ATF. (4-3) on serve.
Do you know what college plays that at their football games?
I've in the crowd when the team comes out.
Yes.
They're red.
I think I know it.
Okay.
They are red.
Yep. The name of the team.
I could be completely wrong, and the American fans can tell me otherwise. But do you want to know? Or
Yeah. No. Go. And I'm going to Google as we.
I'm pretty sure it's the University of Wisconsin.
Correct.
15-0.
Well done.
And I only know that because college tennis has become an avenue to really learn your trade before you step out on the professional tour. And the recruiters sent me the opening footage of the crowd getting fired up to that song before a football match.
Extreme angles there. Well, Google's actually telling me they played at the conclusion of the 3rd quarter of every Badger home game, sending the entire stadium into a frenzy. Was that enough? That wasn't enough to get you there?
Oh, my mum thought I'd Find myself an American woman and never come back home. Instead, I
weren't allowed
found
to go.
myself a German.
Das ist gut.
Sehr, 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 sehr gut.
Well, if we thought the quality was going to diminish towards the back end of this encounter, we were wrong. 2 break points here. Some big hitting.
14.
Yeah, real injection of pace here from Carlos Alcaraz. Unleashed a couple of big backhand cross courts before finding the corner of the forehand wing.
2-11.
Yeah, fastest serve of the match so far from either player.
Advantage Alcaraz.
He looks really confident on that backhand wing, does Carlos Alcaraz. Willing to give it a real smack. I think perhaps a little bigger than what I saw in 2024. And you can see how stingy Alex de Minaur's been there with only the 19 unforced errors. And that will be an area that Alcaraz wants to tidy up. How good is this? We are being treated to some great tennis before the tournament has even begun.
Alcaraz.
20 shots in the rally.
And it was that forehand that set up the easy volley. Carlos Alcaraz's forehand in full flight is one of my favorite shots in tennis currently. Not only is it fast through the air, but heavy. Such as the spin he gets on the ball. That was a huge let.
Big let.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. de Minaur is completing the serve as a let. First serve. Advantage Alcaraz.
Four break points saved.
Juice.
It was on, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had a little bit too much time, didn't he? It took a little while for the ball to get to him.
And he'd already planted with his feet. So it got away from him, and that's what caused him to push it wide.
Advantage, de Minaur.
Some big serving. Another one, so saves the 4 break points to square things up. 4 apiece.
All games on.
I wonder when you start looking at the clock going, this is starting to become more than just an exhibition match. This is becoming quite a physical encounter.
So an hour and 40 minutes, hour 41 on the clock. Well, if they end up 6 apiece, we play a standard tiebreak, and then we play a match tiebreak to conclude it if it's Alcaraz who takes his second set.
Love 15.
I think you're right. There is a decision that's made often in these circumstances. I think we've been playing for long enough, and no one would begrudge Carlos Alcaraz if that's what he was going to do, but he doesn't want to lose either. So it's a conundrum, John. If this goes to a tie-break and they play a 10-point tie-break, we've probably got another half an hour of tennis.
Well, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
Such
absolutely.
has been the quality.
So is the crowd.
Let's play best of 5. Let's pivot.
But as they say down under, there are bigger fish to fry. So that's... He doesn't have the look on his face like a man that's had enough. That's for sure. Some good serving in a tight spot for Carlos Alcaraz as his nose in front still. 5-4 in the second set. Approaching 9 o'clock local time in Melbourne. Wednesday evening of the opening week of the Australian Open. Moving into the final round of qualifying for the men's and women's to determine the final 16 spots in both men's and women's draws. The draw takes place tomorrow. 3 Australians seeded. In the men's. Action almost complete on the outside courts. Qualifying to determine the final spots in the main draw. Draw for the men's and women's opening Grand Slam of 2025 will take place tomorrow. Final slots, men's and women's qualifying, will be decided tomorrow. Almost lost a full day's play on the opening day. If we look at Katie Boulter, no doubt watching on the screens in the locker rooms. Almost lost a full day's play on the opening day to rain, but they've managed to catch up, so they won't need to go into Friday for qualifying. Good news for everybody.
It almost looks as if Katie Boulter's warming up. Perhaps Leighton's out to give her a hit. We heard he wanted to recruit her.
Let's second serve. Love 15. Of 30.
Serve has gone a little missing for Alex de Minaur.
And he might have been seeing things, but he hit his back a couple of times. Put a lot of stress on your back when you serve, especially on the second serve.
Love 14.
3 set points, square things up, send it to a deciding 10-point tiebreaker.
Fifteen, 14.
Rips the winner, takes the second set. Carlos Alcaraz, 6-4.
6 games to 4, 1 settle.
49 minutes. A little bit of fatigue, but Alcaraz just doesn't look like a man that wants to lose, that's for sure. Sure, de Minaur's in the same situation, but we've seen that look of determination on the face of Carlos Alcaraz as we take a look at the summary. Service percentage improved for de Minaur compared to the first set. What else are we looking at here, John?
Well, Carlos Alcaraz was much more effective on both first and second serve. We saw that percentage down quite significantly in terms of points won when landing a serve in that first set. He's improved that and he's tidied up his unforced errors. He still wouldn't be too happy with it, but it was shot making like this. He defended incredibly well, did Carlos Alcaraz. We saw a drop shot off on midway through the second set. But really his passing shots towards the end of that set were extremely impressive.
It wasn't until the 8th game when all of a sudden he had all those break point opportunities, wasn't able to convert any of them, and then breaking the last serve.
Time.
Carlos, you guys are making this very physical here. How are you holding up? I know it's only the 3rd day you are here in Australia.
Well, he's killing me. That's for sure. I mean, it was at some point that I couldn't find anything. Just hitting as hard as I can and praying. But you know, I think it's the best way to get rhythm, to get ready. You know, for Australia, playing someone like Alex, that he has a really good rhythm. You know, big and long rallies. So that's what I need to get used to the conditions, to get used to you know, Australia. So I'm just happy to be able to do it today.
And do you have enough energy for the Champions tiebreak now?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's time to go for it.
Okay.
That's why he's so endearing to the tennis fans. He seems like he really enjoys tennis, doesn't he, Carlos Alcaraz?
Match tiebreak. Alcaraz to serve. Zero. Minaur. Minaur.
Fast start for the Australian here in the deciding tiebreak.
Good news for Carlos Alcaraz is this match tiebreak. First to 10, win by 2. You do have a little more time to sink your teeth into it. However, you'd much prefer to be in Alex's position here.
Still only the 1 point against the serve, of course, but if he drops one of these two, then there's a little more pressure.
Minaur.
Well, he's on the board, holds this forehand, waited for Alex to commit before playing it into the open corner.
1, de Minaur.
Just wide. Hit the line. Just caught it. Looked wide.
I need to have a word to Bolt 6
Yep.
here, because we are sitting on that line,
2, de Minaur.
and I would have staked my house that that was wide.
Yeah, I had the arm out.
Have a look at this.
That's caught the line. No career for us as line judges, John. Do you reckon? Hit the line? I think that hit the line.
Carlos didn't think so.
He's still got 1 point against the serve up his sleeve, de Minaur. Good serve here will help. Well, he didn't panic, even though Alcaraz was terrorising him at the net. Quick to come in.
Does a really good job here. Quite difficult to play the lob as you're moving forward. A lot easier to do so off the back foot. He was just gesturing there that he needs to impart a little more spin, come up the back of the ball a little quicker. It's where a few unforced errors have come for, where he's moving on to that forehand and he's missed it long. More racket head speed, get the ball dipping, sucking back into the court a little quicker.
de Minaur.
Little pre-season blister, perhaps. Long 2 weeks ahead if your hands are already under the pump.
Second serve.
What's the cure for that? Just the old methylated spirits?
Yeah, I don't
Pain
like
and
the
suffering?
I don't like the look of that at all.
Second
So we
serve.
might be seeing the iconic Rafael Nadal tape.
De Minaur.
One more serve to come for Alex de Minaur. Commanding advantage now.
de Minaur.
Been a bit of a procession, the match tie break here. 7 match points. Ticked over the 2-hour mark.
De Minaur.
Well, both players will be happy with the workout, no doubt about that. It's probably been a little longer than they would have necessarily anticipated or wanted, but the quality of the tennis has been first class. Four days out from the start, depending on whether you're on the opening day. Well, he'll regret that if it all of a sudden becomes 9-all.
Goes for the tweener here.
9-4.
The tweener drop shot.
De Minaur.
And then he realised that the net was approaching and then had to dodge the umpire's chair. There were impediments everywhere. Yeah, what was I doing? Leighton, what was he doing? A couple of serves to come. 5 match points still.
This is where it becomes a bit of squeaky bum time here. Because if he doesn't convert this one, he only has the 1 mini break.
Yep. You're doing that arithmetic 6-9, 7-9, 8-9 till I've got the balls in my hand again. Finish it off here, Alex.
Let first service.
So de Minaur gets the bragging rights. 2 hours of entertaining tennis. 7-5, 4-6, and then 10-5 in the deciding tiebreaker. Well, we enjoyed all 2 hours of all of that.